Welcome to Honest Car Reviews. My name is Eric and this is the Mercedes E-Class 450 Cabriolet 4MATIC. This is of course the new updated E-Class, but it's also an updated Cabriolet. And in regards to competition, Audi has the A5 cab and BMW has the 4 Series cab. This is a straight 6 and it produces 367 horsepower, and it has a very mild hybrid engine that produces 22 horsepower. It won't give you massive amounts of extra oomph and acceleration, but it will try to fill the gaps when you accelerate. It will store energy and pump out the electric power when needed. So this is more to reduce those fine numbers of consumptions rather than providing a whole hybrid experience. But it's also trying to provide the cabriolet experience. And you can see that Mercedes has really stuck to fabric roof. Personally, I'm against this. It often diminishes the shape of the car in general. But Mercedes has done some really clever stuff with these really aggressive silver metal around the entire fabric. The problem with cabriolets is always boot space, because you need to have somewhere to put your roof. And probably 15 centimeters of space. And there's some fabric underneath, so you can push your luggage a bit more, but there isn't that much room to play with, even though you can fold down the rear seats. Yes, this has 4 seats. In terms of usability and using your golf clubs, this is not the car for you. This green metallic paint. Wow. The sun is out, and when I'm standing around here, it looks almost black, grayish, but when you stand in the direct sunlight, and especially when it's getting a bit darker, you can see the metallic green flakes. And oh man, it is a sophisticated color that doesn't scream, but it's certainly different. I really like that they have silver and chrome instead of blacked out everything. This is a classic look, and it goes together quite well with the silver chrome metal in the front lights. You always have that bulbous hood getting into the car. You can really see that it becomes a problem trying to get out of sticky, or not sticky, but getting out of tight parking spaces. The new updated E-Class interior with the AMG performance wheel, comfort seats, which has a lot of extra options such as massage. They also have heated air vents, so when you're driving a cabriolet and it's getting colder, these vents heat up your neck. Mercedes has really amped up the use of light and painting with light in the interior. So you'll see later on there goes a light bar that goes, or LED lights that goes underneath the entire console, so it creates a really nice atmosphere. I'll try to get into the rear seats because I have never done that before. And really nice handle, and the seat moves forward. I have to shuffle myself back here. And it's nice that the top or the roof is soft, because my head is touching that. The seats are firmly bolstered on the side, so that pushes on my side leg, and the only way of me sitting in the back is my knees like this. Not the most comfortable seating position, but if you are smaller, shorter than me, I think that you would be able to sit in this rear seat, but I wouldn't. It's actually a decent amount of foot space, but the knee space is horrendous. The side windows, almost one entire part apart from this black part, which means that you might not believe it, but you see around the car quite good. which I was not expecting. I thought there would be a lot of dead angles. I'll get out of the rear seats. I mean, really nice materials, and nice that you have an extra control for your side window, and you even have heated rear seats. Really nice to be here. I'm actually quite impressed of how many functions and how much thought they put into the side door here. Really nice. Let's see if I can get out with some dignity. I have to move one foot. That's no good. It's almost like I have to go with my rear first. All right. Mercedes, Audi and BMW has taken completely different styling routes, and I really like Mercedes. It is the more grown-up classical one, so I don't know if I would take it myself, but I can really see the appeal for a person that wants a more grown-up, laid-back, smooth, easygoing exterior. We'll talk a bit more about the interior because there's a lot that has been added. And really nice that you have a small, this is a bit flimsy, I have to add, but a little lever, you can call it, that makes it easier to grab your belt. The interior in general is quite dark, but with the metal and the LED lights around, the RGB lights, it doesn't get that dark. It doesn't feel like you're the inside of Darth Vader's helmet. The base price of this is just underneath 70,000 euros. But this car, you can look at the official spec of this, costs just underneath 90,000 euros. And most of the extra options is to the interior with the seats, some of the AMG performance stylings, the paint and the rims. One thing that I was quite surprised about is that this is the old controls for the MBUX system. Quite surprised that they didn't just fit the new E-Class control into the new E-Class cabriolet. The air suspension creates that magic carpet ride that only air suspension can give you. And you can hardly hear the engine because it is a smooth one. It has twin turbos, so 367 horsepower, 500 Newton meter, and those extra 22 horsepower from the very small electric engine. And right now I have the style set to performance. I can change it by going to styles and showings, sporty. So this is really similar to the AMG design, but I can also go to classic. The design looks great and it has a lot of hidden features, if you'd say, especially when you go to info. The car tells me what the angle of my steering is, what the suspension is doing, and what has happened in time. Do you really need to know it? Of course not, but it's cool to have. And this is also fitted with Mercedes Juice, which when I accelerate a bit too hard, maybe it's because there's some books and some papers inside, makes the Mercedes Juice perfume not stay in its place. This car on VLTP numbers uses about 8 to 9 to 10 liters per 100 kilometer, and those numbers are only reached when you drive long distances. When you go in traffic, start stop, that number just goes up to about 13, 14, and this is a heavy car. So even though you have that EQ, that electric engine that helps, it is a thirsty engine. Pushing this car a bit, it doesn't feel uncomfortable doing it, and especially with summer tires that are a bit grippier, it is relatively flat and the air suspension really does its job to keep everything under check with 4MATIC, four-wheel drive. Never steps out of line. I noticed some, especially in Sport and Sport Plus, some chunk, or not chunks, but when I release the throttle, The whole car just gives a bolt, and it feels like the rear axle is just twisting itself or something clunky in the gearbox. I'm really happy to say that the cruise control is not temperamental, doesn't change the speed when you drive under or in a tunnel, so that's good. It works as it should do. The reflective noise that just peers through the cabin becomes rather tiresome, but I haven't shown you the party piece of being a cabriolet, and that is, sorry if there's a lot of wind noise, but I have to show it to you. I can actually drive up to 60 kilometers doing this. This is the biggest party piece of the E-Class Cabriolet. Really cool. And I can also have a little flap in the rear. It really makes it a pocket of air driving it. But I noticed that having this flap in the rear up makes the air recirculate and hit my neck, and that's where the neck warmer comes in. And also you can see that you have an extra flap here that diverts the air. Comfortable, it is quick, and in many ways it feels like an AMG Light. It sits underneath the 43 and the 53 AMGs, and it doesn't feel as tight and as rewarding. But once you take this on the back road, I don't think that you will just be disappointed. And for the buyer that this car is aimed towards, I think that this has struck an amazing balance of luxury, performance and dynamic behavior. In comparison with the A5, the A5 looks much more sporty, and so does the BMW with the new nose. I think Mercedes is the more classic, laid-back car for people that knows that Mercedes offers a really nice driving experience. That's my final review for the Mercedes E-Class 450 Cabriolet 4MATIC. See you next time.